Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I go over a story titled, Am I the a-hole for initiating divorce when I found that my wife lied about her count and learned it's over 100? And a shout out to Greg for sending in this story. And guys, like the title said, this is about a guy who found out some pretty awful information about his wife after he got married. Married 2 years, known her for 5, and boom, guess what? It's over. After events happened that he learned about the history and all about her, and now he's kicking her to the curb. And as you can imagine, she's not taking it all too well. And it's a perfect example, guys, where you must do your homework on who you're marrying. Do your homework or you're even dating, but especially marrying. Good Lord Almighty, but this guy is handling it right. And, oh yeah, by the way, guys, as far as I know, this is an older story, but as far as I know, I never covered it. But if I did, I'm sure one of you guys will tell me. And oh yeah, also, by the way, guys, if you haven't done it already, check out the merch store. The merch store is now open. A lot of cool stuff. Smack gear, mugs, t-shirts, hoodies. I think you guys will definitely like it. So, starts off, says here, I'm 32 years old. I've been with my soon-to-be ex-wife, a 32-year-old female, for 5 years, and we have a 1-year-old daughter. Up until this past weekend, we've had a great relationship. As in, I didn't have any major complaints. Small things here and there, but any conflict we've had, we've always been able to have a calm discussion and work out our issues. There ain't no working this one out. I'd like to clarify that I've never expected to date or marry a virgin, considering the condition of the dating market, nor do I have a specific number in mind for a deal breaker. That being said, in the early stages of dating, she brought up the topic of body count. I'm not saying that I wouldn't eventually have asked, but I never pressed her for that information. She brought it up. How interesting. She willingly told me that her body count was, wait for it, 12. Okay, 12. Much lower than I expected. She's a good-looking woman with a high SCX drive, but a high drive does not mean sleeping around. I didn't question or emphasize it. I take most people at their word and let time shed light on lies. Looking back, that was a mistake. Well, time did shed light on the lies, unfortunately, after you said I do. 12, my butt. You know, the joke about whatever it is, multiplied times 3, in her case, times 9. Anyway, my soon-to-be ex-wife's best friend, let's call her Lauren, is a former colleague of mine. Lauren was the one who introduced me to my wife, and at the time we were at the healthcare field, and all three of us were nurse practitioners. Oh my God, I forgot. That's right. She's a nurse. Big freaking surprise. And by the way, this, as you're going to see, this Lauren ain't his friend for introducing him to her. Currently, my soon-to-be ex has the same job title. Lauren hit a major milestone recently and landed her dream job. What is a PORN star? Or more accurately put, Lauren saved enough money to realistically go into business for herself in a field completely unrelated to healthcare. Aha! See, she's doing videos. On Friday, we all went out for drinks to celebrate and support Lauren, along with a handful of people. This part is very important. My soon-to-be ex and I do not drink. We're not sober, but we both had a crazy drinking phase in college, and we were over alcohol. Well, you both had crazy phases, but hers was much crazier. We're both also educated health nuts. We eat clean, work out regularly, and it's hard for us to see what alcohol really is, which is poison. On Friday, would be the first time either of us had remotely got tipsy together, let alone drink. It's not that we won't drink, it just isn't appealing. We'll drink on special occasions and it's not a guarantee. For the duration of the relationship, the handful of times we've had alcoholic drinks, it was separately and far and few in between. It was planned that way, but we primarily have very different friend groups. Okay, dude, we get the point. You don't drink. You know, you spend 5 minutes elaborating on that. No big deal. I hardly drink. The celebration, we said, screw it and let the drinks flow. It's abundantly obvious our alcohol tolerance no longer exists. We're getting toasted, Lauren is getting toasted, and so everybody else in the group. But it's a good time, we're not hurting anybody, and we're having fun. Okay, you don't have to apologize for that, brother. Lauren and my soon-to-be ex get to talking about their crazy times in college. Oh, like her crazy times about the 12 dudes? I failed to mention they met in college. I didn't hear every detail as the conversation was between them, but I heard enough to know hookups were consistent and not outliers. She had multiple group play experiences, and what made me really want to barf is that my wife engaged in pay for play. So he's going to find out that her number is 9 times higher than what she told him. She engaged with multiple dudes at once, probably chicks too. She probably was doing Lauren, and she was getting paid for it, so she's a, nurse wife, huh? I would have walked right out, taking the kid. If we're not sugarcoating here, then it's prostitution. Well, now you know how she paid for nursing school. Listen to their stories, dots that didn't need to be connected, to come to the conclusion her number was way over 12. Obviously, I'm in a bad mood, and I still am. But I continue to save face because I don't want to ruin Lauren's celebration. I don't care. Lauren is well aware of your wife's past and introduced you to. That's not a friend. Lauren is her friend and was helping her out. The train of thought at the time was I like Lauren, her friends, and her boyfriend. I would feel incredibly guilty for ruining that night. As I write this, I'm not sure how I feel about Lauren. It's not her job to tell me all those things about my wife, but she did introduce us. Bingo, sir. And she knew my false interpretation of my wife. They are, after all, best friends, so her loyalty would be with my soon-to-be ex opposed to me. But now I think of it, I don't think I continue being friends with her. No, She introduced you as a favor to your wife, not the other way around. I digress. As the night ended, we were all going our separate ways, and I used the opportunity to question my wife. Not in a pressing manner, but as a happy drunk inquiring. My wife was really out of it, mentally, and loose-lipped. Loose lips, huh? More ways than one. She was the majority of the night. I'll bring up the stories, but at surface level. After keeping the conversation light and fun, I asked her about her body count as casually as possible, considering the context. And enough alcohol to make her relax about that one. I didn't have to yank it out of her, and to keep it short, she didn't give or know the exact number, but she admitted the number was probably more than 100. There you go. So maybe this is when you triple it. This poor guy. He trusted the Lauren chick, who he should have known better, but he was young. I'm going to say what you're all thinking. How's he know that kid is his? When the Uber arrived, she passed out on the way home. I made sure she got home through the door, settled down, and booked an Uber to my brother's house, which is only 30 minutes from us. My brother was babysitting our daughter for the night. He was one of those doors that doesn't require a physical key, but a numeric passcode to unlock the door. By the way, guys, we're having not major, but a relatively big storm here, rain and wind, so bear with me as you hear all the rain pouring down. Hallelujah, it's April and the rainy season's begun because we need the frickin' rain. All the Florida brothers know we've been in a bad drought. Anyhow, prior to showing up, I texted him letting him know I'm passing out on his couch. I welcome almost any time, but the heads-up text was a safety precaution. It was late, and we love our guns here in Texas. In the morning, fighting a massive hangover, I caught my brother up to speed, and he had 2 things to say to me. The first is that she strategically lied to me and manipulated me to alter my perception of her in order to gain an outcome in her favor. This was a conclusion that I came to on my own, just not a well laid out as he presented it. The second thing he said was, I only personally thought of, he brought it to my attention that she's calculated and manipulative. What else is she hot lying about? Again, I came up and thought of that as well. This is why I no longer consider her trustworthy. But what he said next didn't really cross my mind. He told me that being said, he highly encourages me to get a DNA test for my daughter, since my wife is willing to lie about fundamental concepts, and her words can be taken at face value. Can you imagine the thought in his mind, doing that test on the daughter and having to wait for the results? That'd be agonizing. In the moment, I felt sick. Well, even sicker with that thought, and the amount of alcohol I had the night before, I literally threw up all over his floor. To speed up the story, I took my daughter home, confronted my wife. She confessed to lying about her body count, apologized profusely, and laid out the waterworks. Of course she did. Hobag Handbook Chapter 2. I'm so sorry. I expressed anger and hurt, but I haven't mentioned divorce or paternity test. Well, I'm sure she's preparing for it. Get your ducks in a row, then ditch the bitch. Divorce will inevitably happen. I'm planning to begin searching for a lawyer this upcoming Monday and to schedule a meeting ASAP. I also got a paternity test for my daughter to verify if she is indeed my child. I haven't relayed any of this to my soon-to-be ex-wife. Don't say anything, but guarantee you she's battening down the hatches and preparing for something. She blindsided you, you can blindside her. The way I see it, the smartest move is to contact a lawyer first, find out the results of the test, and follow what my lawyer says to the T, and wait and receive the results of the test. I have no idea how long either this will take. I'm no law expert. I've never been divorced, nor do I have anyone close to me that has been divorced. Wow, that's kind of amazing. I'm going to have to stay in my lane and be patient for my lawyer's advice, and to get the paternity results, as that will play a huge role on the future involvement for when the divorce is initiated and finalized. I talked to my mom today about this, and she's adamantly against my plan. Your mom's against your plan? Hey, Mom, and clearly you don't love me too much. You're going to have to pick a side. She won't intervene, but she is biased. My daughter is her only grandchild. Positive or negative results, my mom will see her as her grandchild, but she knows that I don't share the same viewpoint. She didn't directly call me an a-hole, but she did everything but that. Well, then you're rethinking your relationship with your mother. So I'm asking Reddit, am I the a-hole for planning to divorce my wife when I found out she lied about her body count and slept with over 100 men? No, dude, you're not the a-hole. If anybody's an a-hole, it's your wife and Lauren. Let them go and make out or something like that. No. You wouldn't have gotten together with her, let alone married her, if you knew all this information. She sold herself to probably pay for nursing school and did 3 ways and stuff like that. No freaking way. Now to the update. It says, I was going to change how I formatted the update. A lot of people complained about my pacing. Whatever. Some said it was too long. Others said it wasn't detailed enough. Well, he was certainly detailed about the drinking thing. It says here, I'll start with the biggest update. I took a paternity test, and the test results concluded I'm not the father. Oh, my God. This poor guy. And the poor little kid. It's not the kid's fault. His wife is garbage. This was obviously devastating for me, especially since I've been processing this alone. I haven't told anybody yet, not even my bro, who is the one person I typically confide in. I'm not just ready for an in-face conversation with anybody. I generally don't have the words to explain the emotional roller coaster that is for me. Now that I know I'm not the father, I'll answer the question that was commonly asked of me. What will I do if the test results come back and I'm not the father? I made the decision to not raise her. Paternity matters to me, and my personality is very black and white. She's not mine, and I can't spend my life playing pretend. The only comfort I have of this is that she won't remember me. She's too young, meaning that she doesn't have any long-term memories. And it's his right it is his right to do this. End of story. And the good thing is the child won't remember him, But I mean, still, imagine how heartbreaking this is for him. Think about it. His soon-to-be ex is evil and deserves what's coming to her. And if the mom gives him a hard time about this, Mom, you ain't getting a Christmas card from me, or Easter, or fucking Flag Day, or anything like that. We're done. As for the divorce, and the divorce papers, they have not been served as of yet. My soon-to-be ex knows there's a rift in our relationship, but she doesn't know the divorce is coming, nor is she aware of the paternity results. She'll find out the same day when the divorce papers are delivered. Oh, she's in for quite a bad day. Luckily for me, she has virtually zero chance of squeezing alimony out of me. The combination of the duration of our marriage, a prenup, and her earnings, she won't get a dime out of me. Well, that's great, but don't count your chickens until they hatch. All it takes is some judge or some sneaky lawyer to pull something out of their butts. Getting my name off the birth certificate and all the legal BS that comes with that might be a different story, but I'll just have to see how the deck falls. Regardless, I won't be a parent even if I'm forced into child support. Yeah, get that name off the birth certificate, but that is going to be an uphill battle. As for the current state of my relationship, my wife admitted that she intentionally deceived in regards to her lying about her body count. This was early on. She knew next to nothing about me, what I thought about the subject, and how to react. All she knew was that she liked me and really wanted to see if we could become something. In other words, she needed a break from her hose phase. Not permanent break, but a break enough to find a good guy to marry, so she can have a rock on her finger, put on the show, and then she'd continue on. There ain't no way she stopped. I know for a lot of people, they would just take the answer as a valid excuse for lying. I just see it as pathetic. There's been a lot of crying and begging on her part for me to have a meaningful conversation with her. I'm just not interested. She's dead to me, and I don't care who she cheated with, or for how long, or for how many. I don't care what other lies she's told me about our relationship. I don't care if she's genuinely remorseful or she's just putting on a show. All I know is I'm ready to be separated both legally and physically. Well, there you go, man. You can tell this guy is just broken. He's broken, and now he's totally cold and indifferent. How you gotta be. One thing I'm really struggling with is whether or not I want to make her nuke her life. One big thing I can do is get her fired and make finding work extremely difficult for her. Her job means everything to her. Well, you don't want to get her fired and then you end up having to pay her alimony. And the way I see it, even though she deserves some bad things, that little kid does not deserve to suffer. So let her keep her job. Don't say anything. So there's a steady stream of income for the kid, as well as, if you want to get fired, then you got to pay alimony. When we started getting serious and discussing marriage, I told her that we can either be traditional or modern, but we're not combining different aspects of both. So we split everything 50-50, have our own bank accounts, and one account together for bills. She chose this dynamic because of her job, because it's her passion. I'm glad she did, as it's making separating a lot easier for me. Yeah, thank God she's not a stay-at-home mom and he has to support her. I can destroy a reputation socially without it being considered defamation. I am an emotional anchor for her. I can use that to my advantage. Well, I have no problem with that. And if I'm being honest here, the only reason I'm contemplating restraint is that if she's going to be a single mom soon, that's going to be a huge adjustment for her. The better mental and financial shape soon-to-be-ex is in, the better position she'll be to provide a stable life for her daughter. I got no problem with that, and I agree with that. But she ain't going to be stable. Even though she was in somebody's stable. She might have to take on a less demanding role anyway, and I'm currently still the primary caretaker for our daughter. I put more effort into parenthood than soon-to-be-ex. I have a flexible work schedule, so her daughter is with me during the work week. Perks of having your own company. I would wake up in the middle of the night to bottle feed her, and soon-to-be-ex did not breastfeed. And I was just an overall enthusiastic parent. I was happy to do any part every day. How could I not? I had a 50% me human that I could watch grow up. I didn't want to miss a second. That's the stuff that kills more than anything. Anyway, that's what I have to deal with now. If I do a second update, I'll put more time and thought into it. I'm just blabbering away right now. Man, that sucks. That poor guy. Well, I looked around, guys, all over. I did not see any update to that, so I'm convinced, boom, he divorced her, moved on, end of story. And again, I can feel, fortunately the kid is so young, 1-year-old, not going to remember anything unless she's like a Jedi or something like that. But beyond that, the kid will, how it's going to go, I don't know. And I got to wonder what this guy's mom's going to be like. She may still want to be a grandma to that kid, even though it's not a grandchild. Who knows? But he better have a talking to with his mother about this whole thing. So guys, there you go. Do your homework. My God, you got to do your homework nowadays. And not just nowadays, but even in the past as well. And it's only worsening as time is going on. So good for him for ending it with her, and it's not acceptable. And guarantee you there are a lot of people out there that could say, okay, I get why he's divorcing her because the kid isn't his. But some people would probably say, well, because she had a count, that shouldn't matter. And that's a big thing nowadays. Like, oh, no. Her number shouldn't matter, and it's all about how she is with you. BS. If a woman can break up with a guy for anything, and I do mean anything, a guy can end a relationship with a girl for the reason he wants to. Period. So, alright guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.